I'm live. Peace, YouTube subscribers. I'll wait until you check in. I'm surprised they even let me go live. I've been in the YouTube prison camp since the last video I made, which many of you noticed. And they deleted it less than 30 minutes after I made it. So check on in. I don't know if they'll let this video go. They try to change the time on my video. They try to change it. So let's see if anyone shows up. If not, I'm just gonna start regardless. As you know, YouTube has got the shenanigans going on, y'all. So check on in. Doesn't even look like anyone's here. This is wild, y'all. Please put a like on the video. I don't know if it's gonna stay up. I don't know what I'm gonna say. Check on in. I see one person is in here. Oh my gosh. Hey, Melanite. Peace, peace, peace. Hey, Lucinda. Hey, Stephanie, you guys are coming in. It's only saying one person is in here, but I'm seeing a whole bunch of you. I just suggest you upload the video. I can't control. Oh, now it's 56. Check on in. I just got out of jail. I just looked at the my YouTube today, and and it was actually allowing me to go live. I've been in the YouTube prison camp, in the concentration camp, that prison that YouTube has for those who share content like mine. Go figure. So check on in. I'll wait until we get to 500. I suggest you just upload the video if you can. Like I said last time, I can't apologize. I won't be apologizing for YouTube's, you know, very terroristic, very colonizing, you know, satanic control systems. They do what they do. So, you know, there's all these so-called whistleblowers online. Why would they mess with little old me or big old me? You know what I'm saying? Why me? I don't share anything crazy. It just seems like this channel is the one that they mess with. But JWTV is up talking about all kinds of names, saying them out loud, but they keep them up. I wonder why. I wonder why they allow that content to be shared. Many of the things I've spoken about, even extended about, and I was the one who spoke about many years ago before his channel even existed. But it's interesting, his content stays up. Huh. Makes you think, why do they support that channel? No shade, but shade, check on in, y'all. I hope you up for the shenanigans today, y'all. It is the end of Mercury retrograde. So hopefully the shenanigans will be at a minimum. You got 2 more weeks of shadow. So just take a deep breath, inhale, exhale, and hope for the best. Nashville's in the house. Hey, Maryland for Nashville. Well, I don't say that I'm real, but apparently you've got all these so-called whistleblowers with huge platforms. I mean, and talking about all the agendas, and their videos aren't ever taken down. They aren't getting strikes. You got to think. I remember I told you, controlled opposition, they will uplift certain people and channels and governmental agents that are working for the government or used to work for the government, some of their own, and they'll uplift them and allow them to share certain information so that they can guide and control the narrative. And then people who are more organic are shadow banned or targeted or taken offline. I just, you know what I'm saying? I just keep it real. I am back in the United States. I think I told you last time. I'm back from Canada. Big up to all the countries that I visited. Big up to Chile in South America. Big up. I had an amazing time. Big up to Argentina. And you know I always give a shout out to my Brazilians, Brasileiras up in Brazil. And I have to add a new group of compadres up in Vancouver, Canada. So big up to all the family in those areas. Oh, Gambia, West Africa. Big up to Gambia, West Africa is in the house. So join on in. I had a chance to check out the Caribbean Carnival in UK. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see it. Ace's channel had it, and it was. I love Carnival, and I'll wait to start the topic until I hit 500. I just would just suggest y'all. Because last live they took off less than 30 minutes after I made it. I mean, literally, they had the bots must have been listening the entire time, shaking their tail feathers, scared of what everything I was gonna share. So they deleted. Now please stop telling people that I deleted my own video. I have the screenshot that the Zombies and Patreon saw of them deleting my video, telling me that it was medical misinformation, which I didn't speak anything of. Okay. So it's really quite sad that YouTube is uniformly deleting information. Like I said, you have other channels, and I'm not just labeling JWTV. There's a lot of other channels. It's the other one who's a lunar guy. He talks about things. Listen, I'm telling you, y'all, YouTube is full of snakes. Well, I shouldn't even demonize the snakes. It is full of Agent Smiths that the government is placing on YouTube, and they're allowing them to control the narrative. It is called controlled opposition, y'all. Controlled opposition. Okay? I don't appreciate, and the only reason I mention him is because he mentions a lot of things that are going on, but YouTube doesn't cancel him, doesn't flag him, doesn't delete his videos, and doesn't strike him. And he still seems to be monetized. Anybody who's telling the truth isn't being monetized. Anybody who is against the narrative and the agendas isn't being monetized by YouTube. If you notice, I don't have any super chats in my live anymore. You know why? Because they call me a terrorist. They said that the content that I share, big old me, is terroristic. Okay, so they won't be monetizing anybody that they feel is against the narrative. Did you see Ace at the carnival? Oh, listen, it was in Notting Hill, y'all. Big up to the UK in the house. Yo, England, y'all got down with the get down. I didn't know y'all got down with carnival like that. I want to go. And for those who aren't culturally, let me just explain this, y'all. Please stop demonizing brown people for different cultures. I know that the United States is only made to seem like only brown people come from one narrative. We come from a multitude of narratives. Complexion doesn't denote culture or traditions. Stop labeling brown people as demons and telling us we're twerking because we're celebrating carnival. We whine upon everybody. We whine upon me, whine upon me. We whine. We don't twerk. Mere wine. So if you don't know the difference between whining and twerking, then you better go look at yourself in the mirror or go to the Caribbean islands and you can tell the difference. All right? So stop talking dirty about Caribbean people enjoying themselves. Everybody had a smile on their face. Every nationality was accepted. There was Lunars there, Asians there. They were having a ball. So I want to give a shout out to the strong wine pond country over in England who enjoyed their carnival. I loved it. I know carnival, I don't know if Brooklyn, New York is still having a carnival. So big up to all my Caribbean people represent. And what I loved about the Caribbean Carnival in England is that it had a lot of African representation, which I love. We rarely do we have Ghana representing. We had Sierra Leone represented. We had Nigeria being represented. I love the fact that they infused and incorporated the African diaspora up in the carnival. It's nothing I've ever seen. So big up to all my Caribbean people. Let me shout them out because they were whining upon. They had a good time over in the UK. So let me give a shout out to Guyana, over in my South America neck of the woods. Guyana's right next to Brazil. Big up to my Guyana family. Big up to my Trini family. Of course, big up. Look, Nicki Minaj just said something on my page, y'all. Yo, I'm telling you, we're in a simulation. Big up to my Jamaican family. Jamaica in the house. Big up to my Haitian, ça passe. Big up to Dominica, which is a French. Some of you don't know the difference between our islands, so I have to illuminate you because we had some $5 Indians come on here talking about some tribal information. And it's interesting that we're from the Carib, many of you know the Caridad. So we come from, I'm mixed with the Carib and the Taino. Many of you know this. And I had, some woman had the audacity, a $5 Indian, no doubt, coming on here saying, why am I dirtying the the Native Americans because that's disgusting. That you, ma'am, are an imposter. You don't come from the native line, because if you did, you would know our families that are connected in the Americas. You would know all the tribes. Just like I grew up knowing the different tribes in North America, you would know that. You're an imposter because you didn't even know what the Caribbean and Taino were, or the Arawak. Please, $5 Indians, stay in your place. I know that your families and your ancestors pay the $5 to fake the indigenous status, but please don't come over to an indigenous woman's live and think that that's gonna fly over here. Listen, if you don't look like an indigenous, if your eyes don't have a dark pigmentation, your skin, your cheekbones, your hair texture does not carry that signature. Remember, I worked in genetics. You haven't any of the qualifications to come over here to an indigenous woman's channel and speak on behalf of an indigenous. You are an imposter, and unfortunately, your family lied to you, and they told you were something that you are. Now, I'm not here to demonize them, you, for having been lied to, but certainly don't come on here when you don't even know the different indigenous in the Americas. Okay, let me go shout out to my Caribbean people. Barbados in the house. Where are my Bajans? Barbados in the house, Trinidad, Jamaica. Dominica was representing in the house. It's not Dominican Republic. Big up to Dominican Republic, DR. But Dominica is one of the French islands next to Guadeloupe. Big up to Guadeloupe. Big up to Martinique, my island over in there, St. Lucia. Big up to Grenada. Montserrat was representing heavy in the UK. What's going on, Montserrat? I didn't know you did a resurgence. Big up to Montserrat representing. Big up to Curacao representing. Big up to, who else we're talking about? St. Kitts, St. Croix, St. Thomas. Big up to, who else? Curacao was in the house. Belize was representing yesterday. Who else? Big up to St. Martin. Big up to St. Vincent, St. Thomas. Big up to who else? Oh my gosh, come on, y'all. Bahamas. Oh, Bahamas represent. St. Lucia, you know, always. So big up to my Caribbean family representing in the UK. I really appreciate it. At Ace, if you don't get a chance, Ace did a wonderful live, and it was beautiful yesterday. So big up to that. No, JWTV is just something else. Aruba in the house. Look at my Caribbean diaspora. I just want to give a shout out because it was beautiful to see such a wonderful representation of the Caribbean islands represented in Europe. So I just want to say that it was absolutely amazing. Okay, so I'll wait until we get to 500. And for those who are coming in who didn't get a chance to see the video, I did screenshot it from my when they delete your video, they allow you to review it and, you know, ponder upon your mistakes and your terrible shares on YouTube. I did screenshot it real ghetto, but I haven't uploaded it yet, and I will do so. But I kind of just talked about what I spoke about in the last video, and obviously YouTube didn't like the conversation. You know what I mean? So let me just say this: do not wear. I do not wear vanilla extract. Do not wear it. It does not stop mosquitoes from biting you. Do not put on organic, pure vanilla extract, y'all. Don't do it. Okay? Don't do it. Come on in, y'all. I'm being a little messy, though. I'm being a little messy. I just, you know, YouTube, come on now. It's getting crazy. I know the election's coming. I know you're getting crumped up. I know you had all your Agent Smiths all online, working the agendas, putting people in that mindset. But I'm from the old school. You aren't going to control my narrative. And I can't stop, won't stop. Okay? So wait until we get to 500, y'all. So check on in. We're going to talk about the Americas and the Olympians that are present here. Okay? And talking about the abilities and the resurgence of the true Olympians that exist and have existed in the Americas. So if you're up for the shenanigans, come on in. I'll kind of keep on task and on topic, but you know sometimes how I go off. So check on in. Everybody okay? Okay. I'm going to try to keep my shares to a minimum. If you want to see me raw, the Zombies see me all the time. So that's the only time you get me raw. Unfortunately, YouTube is ran by dark Kabbalist Satanists. that like to basically suppress people that are, mind you, y'all, I'm not even sharing anything crazy. Okay. Okay. So come on in. Ah. So hopefully everybody's well. The temperature's changing. Okay, the weather. Remember, we got pole shift all on and popping. Okay, seismic activity. You may feel a little crazy. If you're feeling a little sleepy, it seems like, oh, let me. You like my shirt, y'all? The shirt was made. You like my shirt? I love the shirt. Look at that. Let me fix my shirt. The pole shift is on and popping. So if you're feeling really sleepy, I know a lot of people, including me. Oh, hold on. The doorbell rang. The door's going to bark. Hold on. It's going to be loud. Shh. Hold on, y'all. The dogs are going to bark. My door just rang. Hold on. Hey, Teresa. Hey, Teresa. How you doing? How's PA? I know it's getting, yeah, Babette, Vi, Lola, and Frost. They'll calm down. Okay. Hold on, y'all. They're so cute. Okay, they calmed down. Good. Come on, go lie down. Go lie down. You're good. Okay. Go lie down, 5. Go lie down, 5. Okay. So, many of you may have been feeling the change in stratosphere and feeling really tired. So I want to just kind of reaffirm. Me and the Zombies had a long conversation about that a couple days ago. I think it was like 3 days. Quite a few people are feeling it, even if you're not in the country. It is because we're going through a magnetic flip, and it changes the stratosphere. So it could be some, almost like how the barometric pressure changes, like when we're about to get a storm, kind of like that, but it's planetary. Okay, so inside of the matrix, inside of the different domes, people are feeling it. Homegirl was feeling it in Vietnam. So if you were feeling really tired over the last 3 days, don't feel that it's odd. Just rest. Make sure you're getting enough. Remember, because we're being dehydrated also from large quantities of radiation hitting the planet. Because you're getting a lot of doses of that, it causes heightened amount of dehydration. I'm not a doctor. I'm not anything. I'm just saying I felt that way. So make sure you're getting a lot of hydration. Okay. Drink, water, adding a little salt. That's what I do. It helps to kind of quicken up the hydration. It's a lot of that going on. So I won't be talking about the monkey balls, the EEE, mosquitoes, mass destruction. I won't be talking about that because YouTube, I can't tell you why YouTube deleted the last video. It could be they never specify. They always say just medical information. So I want to keep this video up. So for that reason, I'm going to kind of keep it to the topic today. If you want to hear the crazy topics, all you got to do is join us on. And big up to all the Zoomies. We had forever Zooms. We had over 72-hour Zooms running. It's kind of like the old days on 2020 when we used to have the Zooms running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's kind of like that. So if you're looking for a support system of people who are like-minded, if you're like-minded and you're up for the shenanigans and you don't want censored conversation, you can always join us on Zoom. Okay, we're there. Yeah, it's like a marathon, right, Catherine? Yeah, it's crazy. It's a marathon. Okay, and it's just really supportive because it's kind of like in your daily life, how many people can you speak about what you know, the things that you know, the mindset that you're becoming aware of. It's probably very difficult. So I have some amazing Zombies, and I gotta give a shout out. The Zombies have evolved, and I have some of the smartest, most amazing, just magical Zombies that join me, and they lift my consciousness up as well. So big up to all the Zombies that join. So you can always join us, I would say, on Thursdays and Sundays, but it seems like it rolls all through the week. Okay, so that's all I have to say. We're almost at 500, so we're going to start the topic. So check on in. We'll kind of speak to what's going on. Also, for those who are really tired, just like I said, you're being bombarded with a lot of radiation throughout the planet. And, oh, darn, I guess I can talk. I don't know if I could talk about this. Well, I'll just ask the question. Again, it's really sad that I have to really limit what I speak. And yes, I have Rumble, but I'm unable to go live on Rumble like I go here. So it's a little more difficult. And many of you know I'm challenged technologically. So I want to go live on Rumble like I go live on YouTube. So I do have my Rumble channel, but it isn't as easy for me to go live because I'm just not as savvy. And I'm sorry, y'all. I refuse to get updated technology so my house could be further radiated. So, you know, I know that is a detriment in the wave of, you know, social media, but I'm back, you know, I'm from back in the days, y'all. Okay. So I apologize if, you know, I take a little more time to kind of do things on other channels. It's just I do what I know what I can do. I'm more of an elemental. I'm out in nature a lot. You know, I've got some things going on with the Orishas. That's a whole nother conversation. I won't even share what's happening, y'all. Bloodlines matter. That's all I say. So check on it. We're almost at 500 and I'll start the conversation. You're still putting out a tape cassette. Oh, so you know what I'm talking about. It isn't to say it's good to have a little that I'm a little less efficient in technological matters, but there's something that allows me to still hold my purity because I'm less of that. So, you know, it's kind of like you darned if you do, you're darned if you don't. Certain things, you know, like I said, I'm called every name online. You know, that you can probably add that to the list. You know, I've been called, what have I been called? I've been called a siren, a whore, uh, uh, fat, a monkey. They call me everything. A slut. All these things are relative. You know what I mean? And that's why I said when you come online, you have to really have a thick skin or you develop it from being online. I've been online a long time. So what you think about me has nothing to do with me. That's what I've learned. When someone has a concept or a judgment of you, it really doesn't have to do with you. It has to do with the way that they think and the way that they feel, you know? So, you know, calling me names or saying that in one way, first of all, I didn't know there was a weight limit to come on YouTube. I didn't know that you had to be skinny or required to take Ozempic so that you could shut down your stomach and look really good on the outside, but really rotten on the inside. I didn't know that was a requirement. I didn't know that I couldn't be an ethnic looking woman with skin that I like. I love my skin. I love my nose. I love my hair texture. I didn't know that was a problem for people. I didn't know that being a woman was an issue. Having a true organic vagina, a yoni, a lotus was an issue. So these aren't issues that I truly decide to take on. If you feel that way about me, that's totally okay. But I am going to stay the way I am. I won't go and lose weight for you. I won't be sticking a needle in my stomach on Ozempic just to make you happy and see me as appeasing to you, because that isn't my purpose to be online. I'm an organic woman, so I come out with an organic body. I've had babies and I'm a mother, so I look like a mother. I think some of you want, you know, then you call me you know, and then when I lose weight after I fast, then you call me a slut or what'd you call me? This lady called me, she used to, what did she call me? A siren. So then when I lose weight, you call me a siren. I mean, get it together, y'all. I'm okay with me, and so long as I like the way I look, it doesn't matter how you feel. That's totally upon you. But it isn't a requirement for me to come online and look artificial. If you want artificial women, there's a lot of IGs with filters on it. I won't filter. I'm not putting a stick load of makeup for you. This is how I am. And if me being an organic woman with a real live intact vagina that can push out babies, if that bothers you, this is not the channel for you. Okay? If I have real breasts that fed real babies, okay, in real time, breastfeeding mother. If that bothers you, this channel isn't for you, because I'm going to look as I do. And if that offends you, if my copper colored skin and my texture hair, okay, offends you, then this channel isn't for you. You need to go to channels where there are people that are more in alignment with you physiologically. You're more shallow. Go to those channels. They'll give you what you need, okay? It is what it is, okay? You know what I'm saying? Kukarachi shots, Ozempic, if you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people who fit your bill. Let me stop antagonizing you. Big up to everybody in the house. You know I like to be antagonistic. I am a triple Sag and I like to be a little petty. So join in, and we're almost at 500. I think I can join in. Come on, y'all, check on it. Put a like on the video. Hopefully it'll stay up. I didn't delete the last video, so please refrain from saying that to people. They deleted it. Okay. Okay, so let's go. I think we can start the topic. Hold on. Oh, we got 9 more to go, y'all. 9 more to go. 9 more to go. Okay. So, okay, once we get to 9, I'll start. I like to start at 500 because at least people come in, because I always start the topic and some people are coming in like halfway. It's me being a little considerate, I think. Oh, we got 4 more to go. So can someone mark the time? Wait, I'll get the time. I'll do the time when we get to 500, so you don't have to do it. Check on in, everybody. Check on in. I'm kind of calm today, okay? I hope everybody's well. I have a backup YouTube page. It's FleurBrun Above the Firmament. I do have a backup page, but they also tag me. They also flag my videos on there too. So it doesn't matter. YouTube is doing it, and I just, you know, it is what it is. I came here. I've been on YouTube before YouTube was a thing, and it is what it is. We got 2 more to go. We're gonna hit that 500. Hit that 500. Okay, I think we're almost there. I'm glad. Oh, we're over 500. That was quick. Okay, 2644. 2644. Can someone mark that when we come in? 2644. We're here. Okay, so we're gonna talk about the Americas, the home of the Olympians. The bloodlines matter. Okay, so many of you understand and understand that we're going through a very amazing time. This is before the reset. This is a cylindrical pattern that our Earth undergoes. You know. And let me just reiterate for those who are probably new to me, I perceive us living and coexisting in a simulation. This isn't real, friends. This is a simulation. Your thoughts create the pattern and your reality. So your thoughts create an energetic field, an energetic projection, and create the reality you live in. For some, it is heaven. For others, it is heck. And it is because whatever you're existing in, it's because you are creating it. And in your creation, everything that you are, believe, know, and have been influenced by help to create the projection that you see outside in your reality. That's why you get a lot of synchronicities. A lot of times you get synchronicities in life. Like you'll think about something, right? Thoughts create reality. So you'll think about something like when I was talking about Trinidadians, Trinis, and as soon as I said Trinis, I got a notification that Nicki Minaj said something. So you see that this is a simulation. It is a computer AI generated simulation. I am telling you right now, this motherfucker is not real. And that being said, you think it would give you ease, but because you're coexisting with other beings that are also creating the landscape you consider it to be Earth or inside the firmament, you're being influenced or things are being perpetuated on you if you aren't strong enough to kind of create a field that only allows for your main mindset, your own creation vibrations to kind of dominate the amount of reality whatever reality you're experiencing. Okay, so that being said, we're at the end of the cycle. What does this mean? At the end of the cycle, what happens is that it goes to reset. It's like a computer program. It's like the end of a game. Last time I spoke to you, I told you we're in an interactive video game. There are main players. You have avatars, NPCs. You have all kinds of beings coexisting here. And also because we're going inside of another form of frequency, other beings are now being reinstituted. I say reinstituted because they probably were here in other creation stories before the last reset. So you're getting other types of beings coming into your field. Now, many of you know me from my speaking about the reptilians for many years, talking about the different beings that coexist with us. And I had an awareness and had interface with these type of beings, but because my awareness was always really heightened, it allowed me to have more data inside of the simulation, meaning that my memory bank was wider and less capped. So it allowed me to have more interface with beings that are outside the natural construct of what you perceive to be in the normal matrix. Okay, like, the little old lady who walks with a cane, and she, like, the chill. It's just whatever whatever's in you has an limitations and otherwise. That's why I say a lot of people who are highly religious, though religions have their purpose. I always talk to you about religion being like a starter kit for spirituality, or bringing a spirit up to par as far as having ideas outside of the physical world. Okay, bringing them up to par a little bit, because religions are necessary, or forms of spirituality, however you perceive it, because one can be agnostic but still have a certain level of spirituality. Religion is not always the blueprint for someone spiking their spiritual awareness, but for those who need that kind of that leveling up, it does help them. So you'll see people like, I'll see a lot of times, I told you, the most contact I know is happening is amongst Christian women. And it's interesting that Christian women will label their experiences to Jesus, the Holy Ghost, God, and they're having full on contact with other beings. And the other beings, I know now, utilize their limited ability to perceive outside of their belief systems, and uses that blueprint to initiate forms of consciousness or awareness or spiritual enlightenment for them. Okay, so back in the days, I just used to see all these women, and I was like, oh my God, they're talking about what I liken to be beings, interface with maybe reptilians or other interdimensional beings. I'll hear a Christian woman talk about, oh my God, the Holy Spirit came to me and I saw these lights and it was Jesus. You know what I mean? But in it itself, was it Jesus? Do we have different terminology that we use based on our imprints, our blueprint that we've been socially engineered to accept? So in her mind, that was a form of being maybe Jesus coming to her, or the Holy Spirit. But in my mind, being a little further outside of the limitations of the matrix, I understand that if a being wants to contact with this woman, he's going to use, or that being is going to use an imagery or apply forms of messaging within her construct of what she believes. So I took out some of the judgment, because I was seeing too many women too many women with I'm sorry. Hello. I coughed. Can anyone see me? Can anyone see me? Hello. Put a 13 if you can see me. Oh my God, I'm like tearing up. I started coughing, and then all of a sudden everything like shut down. It's the power of like what I'm talking about. Okay. Wow. Okay, let's continue. So I was just talking about that. So we're going through a shift, and in that shifting of our perceived reality, there's a leveling up. Now, remember I told you that my voice changed even. Sorry. Remember when I told you that when I traveled, I realized that when I traveled to different countries, I was engaging with different beings, placing myself in different atmospheric, atmospheric expressions, being exposed to different elementals, and I coughed myself on pause. I know that's right. And I had realized that every time I went into a different country, I was experiencing different dreamscapes. And when I noticed this initially, sorry y'all, when I noticed this originally and initially, I took it as, okay, well, I'm in a different environment, a different country, maybe it's just what I see. But I noticed that when I would go into dreamscapes, that the beings that I was interfacing with weren't beings I've ever been exposed to. And literally the dreamscape, are you guys there? Oh, did it pause? Ooh, I don't know if it paused. Put a like on the video if you still see me. I don't know if you paused. Are you guys there? Okay. Okay. I just making sure. Okay. That it wasn't just that I was seeing these different beings or experiencing different beings in my dreamscape. They were beings that I hadn't ever met. I didn't have a concept of them. Meaning that, in our social media, on television and radio, like, just, I'm a woman of a certain age, so I come from a different time frame. So, whatever I've been exposed to in my world is what I can usually have access to seeing, show up in my dreamscape. But I was having beings and entities that hadn't any connection to me otherwise from just me being in that country. So if that's being said, I started to understand and understand that there was a connection. Now, one thing I was saying is that I was staying within the landscaping of the Americas. Now, why is this important? Because I go into bloodlines all the time and I talk about blood types. You've heard me talk about blood types. Type O, which I believe to be the hub, type A, type B, and type AB. Then you have a negative charge and you have a positive charge. Okay, so I always talk about blood types and blood types and how it affects you, how eating, the things you're exposed to, the things you have sensitivities to, how that's really important. Now I'm going to tie this all in because as I'm traveling through the Americas, I'm noticing the different types of expressions. And then also, as I'm going into different countries that have more of my bloodline, my blood lineage, I get a amplification that happens within my own biodome. My body becomes amplified, stronger, and even more regenerative because I'm now exposed to a collective that doesn't even just have a connection to me maybe lineage wise, but it has a connection to me blood type wise. And that's where I'm going to go into blood lineage and the reemergence of the Titans or the Olympians that have and always came from the Americas. Okay. When we talk in terms of, all the Olympians, or you talk about ancient Greek gods, we talk about it so abstract as if it's something outside of ourselves. But what if I told you that those beings were within the landscape of the Americas, and why the Americas is highlighted for the highest amount of consciousness, why in the Americas everyone looks to us to see what we're going to do in our whenever we're in this this scale of confrontation, almost like we're being placed inside of a like the Colosseums, and we're being perceived by many eyes, not even the eyes that are just on this planetary simulated dome inside the overdome. We're being perceived by many beings on the outside, watching to see how we engage and how we're able to overcome some of the trials and tribulations. And then I started to realize, oh my God, this is like the Olympic Games. And when we see the Olympic Games, we think of everything outside of ourselves, right? We think, oh, the Olympic Games, that is just, a conglomerate of different types of sports that people come together that they're very highly proficient in, and they come together and work on a court of their, to represent each of their countries, domes, and they come together to compete for, who is the best or more proficient in that sport, right? But in it itself, if I took out the concept of it being different countries and its domes, and beings are coming to compete against the best and the baddest Olympians, you would think very differently. Right? Remember, like even on some of the old movies that we watched back in the days. I'm talking to some of the, Generation Xers when we used to watch Aladdin or like what was it like oh my god, there were so many shows we used to watch, like those old fashioned shows when they have like the Cyclops go in and he'd be battling like one of the strongest Olympians in the middle, right? Aliens versus Predators, Hunger Games, kind of like those competitive feels. But what if I told you that at the end of a cycle, that everything comes to a precipice, like everything comes to a the strongest position of showing and it emitting or illuminating those skill sets that you've earned through several different incarnations, consciousness, spirituality, and your physical awareness, how that all comes to a head. And we're seeing, manifestations of that showing up in the Olympic Games. But what if I told you that we're the Olympians? And all of the trials and tribulations that were just basically the ingredients of our training is now coming to a head, and that we are being perceived on the outside from many different nations inside of this world and outside to see how we've been trained, to see how well we're able to deal with diversity and with challenges, and see who will reign supreme, right? And then I have to talk about the fact that many other people from many other countries have looked at America or the Americas as the main source of news, the main source of entertainment. Everything is being highlighted in mainly in North America. Okay. Even when we talk in terms of why are all these people from all of the different domes coming at the end to the Americas. Now, remember, I don't want to jumble everything because I know I'm going all over the place. Remember, broadcasted everywhere. That's right, Catherine. Remember when I talked about the fact that during this time there would be a mass migration. But what if, because, okay, let's think in terms of what is actually the placement of our geographical placement. They've told us that Africa was way out there. They call us African Americans. They've always placed the word Africa as if it's a place away. What if I told you, and that's why some of you who live in the United States can confirm this, because you live in places like, you'll live somewhere in upstate New York where it'll say Egypt, it'll say Cairo, it'll say little Jerusalem. If you live in Pennsylvania, I lived in Nazareth. Why do they have the same names of the places that they call, that are all the way on the other side of the land, the landscape? Why do we have the same names on different ley lines in the north? What if I told you, and let me give some more validity to this. What if you just heard about them finding the Egyptian pharaohs, like a beautiful Egyptian pharaoh, what is perceived to be an Egyptian pharaoh in the Las Vegas, in the Grand Canyon, right? Remember when I told you many years ago, Dr. Delbert Blair had a gentleman on, and he was a truck driver, and he went in the underground tunnels that are all over the United States that they don't let you know exist. He was in Virginia, and he was seeing them cover these big carbon black heads that were what we perceive to be the Olmecs, right? And how many of you have sat and seen all of the details of finding old Egyptian type pyramids all in South Carolina, Virginia, Utah, multiple places in North America have these amazing pyramids that are very, very, very similar, if not exactly alike, to the ones we see in so-called Africa and Egypt. And what if I told you that there were more pyramids and more ancient sculptures and Olmec heads that were located in the north part of the hemisphere rather than the south. We actually, again, this is all conjecture, this is all something that we who are researched, and also had some of the archaeologists actually reveal this. But we know for a fact that there are more pyramids in North America than there were ever in Egypt. How could that happen? How could you have that many? How could you have that many pyramids located here? And we don't even want to talk about Central America, where it's home of the Olmec heads and the Mayan temples, which are, again, all these pyramids in Mesoamerica that are all erected, that are just almost the same geometrical shapes, if not specifically the same what do you call it? The same measurements that you would perceive all the way in what you say Africa. If Africa is the home of all, then how come all of the pyramids are only in one specific place? And I don't want to even talk about just Egypt, because no one talks about the pyramids that are in Sudan. I think it's in South Sudan. Do you guys know about that? Any Sudanese in here? Big it's my Sudanese. About the pyramids that are located in southern Sudan that they don't talk about. Okay, so let me go back to my concept, and is that this is Africa. The North America, which we call the United Fakes, parts of Canada, definitely parts of Central America, definitely the Caribbean, because we have all the pyramids located, Bermuda Triangle, which is the biggest imprint of a Stargate that has been submerged underwater, and some of it is still reminiscent in the air. That's why occasionally birds, planes, people disappear from that area still, because the technology of those pyramids still exists underneath the water, and it's permeated the airspace where that Stargate opens, that vortex opens at probably specific times, and things go in and don't come out. Okay, so I just wanted to put that in there, because when I talk about the gladiators being created here, I have to build the background of why that would be. When you have so much technology that's here, whether they let you know or not, we know that these pyramids existed. We know that the Olmec heads were here. We know that there was ancient technology that is still on running, and the Masons and the Jesuits and the Satanists and all those others are utilizing those technologies, whether they let you know or not. Remember, they're heading all of social media. They control the narrative, all of the news that's designated outward. And why they wanted to control it, because they knew at this specific time that your bloodline would reach out to you, and you would start to be the codons that are shut down in your body via all the, what they give you from when you're born, shutting down all of the codons in your body, trying to give you more of it so that these Olympian genes don't turn on and get amplified by all this radiation. And not all the radiation is coming from them, y'all. That's why they covered the goddamn sun. Remember the whole fake eclipse? They put something over that other sun that we had. They didn't want you to be amplified. Okay, because they knew that those codons in your body that are basically like time bombs waiting to wake up at a specific time before reset, that your Olympian gene pool would start to become Wi-Fi'd to all the galactic information coming in here via radiation. Y'all, the Olympians are us. And right now, because we have all of this interference, they're just slowing down the process, but it's all going to happen. It's already happening. You have people now that are able to hear sound from a distance. You have people that are able to walk in the dark and can see fully. All the times they told you that you had, you have a stigma. It wasn't a stigma. It was your ability to see through the dark. So they want to try to correct it, or let me just say hamper it, by putting certain types of devices on you, glasses, contacts, and try to defray that ability from really like a muscle working itself so that it can be perfected and be used at this time. The Olympians are in the North America. North America is Africa. It is really where the Olympians are born. And I always say this because I noticed that every time I got pregnant. Every time I got pregnant, I would always have to, I won't see it online because I don't want people to know. The Zombies knowing people who know me, so it's not like I'm hiding it, but it isn't appropriate to say just online like that, because the Jesuits, Satanists, and all the other ones, even though they listen all the time, they know more than we know about us. But every time I got pregnant, I would always have to go to a specific place in the Caribbean for that soul to be imprinted in my womb. Actually, that's how I knew I was pregnant a lot of times, because I would just get a trip. And I'm saying the trip would just come out of the blue. It would just be like, hey, we're going to go and so. Okay, let's go. And then all of a sudden I would go, and I was like, oh, after like the third or fourth time, I was like, oh, I'm pregnant or a baby's about to come, because my womb would be always want a specific type of soul to be imprinted inside. So I would have to be over a certain ley line where that soul would come up and be imprinted in my womb. And I think a lot of times that happens with a lot of women. You may not notice it, but maybe if you're in, if you don't notice it, maybe pay attention to that. Are you being drawn to places right before you conceive? Are you conceiving in the same place? Are there places that your ancestors had been, where that soul needed to be, entered into that womb at a specific time? It's important for you to understand that everything is purposeful. Your Willy Wonka systems have been lying to you. This whole world is constructed, and there's an overlay of lies that they keep perpetuating on human beings, because they won't let you know that you are your ancestors. The bloodlines of the Olympians are here. All of those strong beings that you hear about, when you hear about Zeus, or you hear about Apollo, and they name them different things. You hear about, Apollonia, and all of these different goddesses and gods. Those were you. And there aren't a lot of, I think I've told you before, and I know that many of you think I'm insane when I say this, but it doesn't really matter, because you have to realize we're in a simulation and this is a game. I told you to watch the show Jumanji with Kevin. You got to watch the later one, not the old Jumanji, the newer Jumanji with Kevin Hart and The Rock, when they were placed inside of the video game and they took on different avatars. And each of these avatars had different abilities, and they also had different, vulnerabilities. Okay. And based on, one, Kevin Hart was a zoologist, right? Do you remember this, y'all? It was really good. If you get a chance, and it's okay for your little ones to watch it. I don't think it's too inappropriate, but when you go and watch Jumanji, you'll see like Kevin Hart came into the game, and he was like before he came in, I think he was a lunar woman. No, was he a lunar woman? Was he a man? I think it was a lunar woman, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think it was a lunar woman, and he came into the game, and he was a melanated man, and he was a zoologist. He had all of this information inside of him, right? So remember, above him, he had all the things that came with him. Like knew all the animals. He knew all the geographical ley lines, the things that they needed. He knew the landscaping of where they came from, but he had one or two deficiencies. It was cake, and every time he ate cake, he blew up. It's a really good show if you ever get a chance to see it. So Osiris, Isis, Ra, it's all absolutely, these are all these aspects of the Olympians that are inside of each one of us. Now, mind you, there are a lot of NPCs here, empty seats, empty seaters. You've heard me call them empty seaters, NPCs, background people, holographic people. The majority of people here aren't real. If you go and play a video game, right? And I know a lot of young people do they do video games with their friends online. Like their friend's head will be like in Oklahoma. Their other homeboy will be in the Bronx. The other guy will be in the UK. It's like a whole bunch of them. But there's only like 4 or 5 of them playing, right? But they go inside of the game, and who do they meet? All of these NPCs. These are background people. These are just basically, it's just a landscape that's geoengineered by AI. It isn't real. But they're there for a task, to play a game, and they're interfacing sometimes with characters that come and just, greet them and kind of initiate them into another part of the game. Maybe they have to give them a clue, but these are non-playable characters. They aren't real. You are the real character going inside of the avatar that's in the game, But the game itself is AI generated. It is a simulation, and there's only a few organic players that are coming from outside the landscape of the game. So those beings that are unreal are capped. They're geoengineered. They're socially engineerable. They're loopers. They're only there so long as you're there to interface with them. They may have a reason and a season, but they're just the backdrop of the game. They're just there as props in the landscape of the world that you're entering into. I mean, if you think of like Westworld and things like that, you got to think that's another form of AI generated system where you have robotoids. Now, mind you, now in the landscape that we perceive to be the real world, which is all artificial, now you're starting to interface with, because we've gone to another layer of evolvement, we're starting to interface with some people that aren't even real. They're robotoids. They've set out the robots, y'all. The robots are out here. So now we talked about beings coming in that were other types of species. Now they're laying out and they're telling you that they're doing it. But really, is it that the robots are coming to us, or are we getting to a layer of consciousness now? Now we're meeting their level and we're up to that layer where we're interfacing with closer mechanics of the matrix. Like are the robotoids really strange? Are we strange as coming as organic beings, displacing ourselves in a video game, and now coming to a point where we're getting outside of the fabric of this artificial intelligence reality? So now we're meeting the mechanics of the game. That's why all of your grocery stores have no person manning it anymore. Now, when you go to a checkout, you're checking it out through a machine. Now that you call, you're calling your telephone company, you're talking to AI. Now, when you're going out, you're going to places to get things, you aren't seeing regular people anymore because we've outphased that layer. We're going to a new layer where we're going to start interfacing with AI generated mechanical beings. So you aren't to ever just assume that the person next to you anymore is a biological human that's maybe a person that's like yourself, that's real, or a geoengineered avatar that's part of the backlight people that's normally just geoengineered but it's still biological. Now you may be interfacing something that has a biological outer layer but is all mechanical, all machinery on the inside. Okay. So that being said, it's on and popping. We're going towards reset. We have a pole shift happening. And people say, well, if this isn't a real reality, why we go through a pole shift? The pole shift is part of the program. Just like certain things, a world war will always happen right before reset. These are cylindrical patterned events that are geoengineered in the mechanics of the matrix of the simulation. It always happens that way. The simulation always has a pandemic right before a war, right before reset, and then a pole shift to clear it all off and then start over again for those who need a level of spiritual elevation. So they come back incarnated in new bodies and in new times, restarting again until they hit reset again. This is the end of the program, and there's only one window. This is why the last video I made was really poignant. Because if you understand that if you are an organic being, I can't say that, if you are an organic being inside of the simulation, you are going to have beings beside you, around you, and interfacing with you that you can't necessarily vet out outside of this structure, because they are all parts of this simulation. They're part of the language, the ingredients of this specific Earth simulation. Now, what does this have to do with the gladiators or the Olympians that are here? Really, in itself, what this has to do with is during the end, you get powers and your amplification of your abilities. I don't want to even say powers because that's really geoengineered. That's a term that it isn't relative to an organic being. Your capped abilities now get unleashed. And they're trying these simulated beings, these lifetime loopers. They're like parasites within the matrix structure of the matrix. They haven't there, some of them are there are beings here that are also blissed up, meaning that they are organic and they're just maniacs. They're lifetime loopers. They've done so many dirty deeds. They like being in a simulation because they can geo create the world that they always wanted. And a lot of them are unable to leave because they have to get to a certain vibrational frequency to be able to access the outer layer to wake up. They aren't able to do it because they're still engaged in highly material, materialism, phantasmic, doing really gruesome, heinous things within this construct. And they're like the criminals of this realm. There's only a few of us, like a handful, but they're able to geoengineer. They've been in here, they're lifetime loopers. So they've learned how to master this realm. They're like the parasites of this realm. So they've geoengineered a world that caters to them. That's why you're seeing like a being in Louisiana, in New Orleans, with a big penis, and he's got monkey balls all over him. They can put that in the middle of the matrix in the simulation, and no one is trying to take it down. Why is it that you have a whole statue erected, God knows from where? It's erected in the middle of Louisiana with monkey balls all over it, looking like something at the Garden of Satan, and a whole wand sticking straight out. And there isn't tons of feminazis and parents and just normal people that are coming against it, because the majority of people aren't real. Why that's able to happen is because you're starting to realize that all of these beings in here are socially engineerable background people. There's not a whole bunch of real people in here. So something like that can be erected right now, and there isn't going to be a lot of pushback, because the pushback would only come from organic beings. And if I'm telling you that if you go inside of a simulated game and there's only 5 to 10 players, I told you, I used to think there's 144,000. I'm starting to think there might be only 144 people playing the game. I know that seems crazy, but maybe it's 144,000. I could be off. Maybe it's 144,000, but when you're seeing things like that show up and there isn't any level of aggression towards that, just only people reacting to things that are being socially engineered and presented to them, makes me think there's not a lot of us here. There's not a lot of playable characters in here, because you would see more. You would see more of an uproar. You would see more physical. You would see more of a pushback towards something like that. Now, I could be wrong. That I won't say that, because saying 144 people is very little, and that's scary to a lot of people. But I'm just saying in terms of anyone who plays video games in here, or 1,044. Oh, you're right. Maybe it's 1,044 people. Remember, if you're thinking in terms of us going into a video game, and how many people usually go in a video game, y'all? It's usually just a handful. And most of the people going in the game are going in the game with non-playable characters. They look real, they sound real. God darn it, you may even have sex with them and it feels real. They aren't real. Remember that lady on the plane? They give you hints in the Matrix in the simulation too. Remember, she was on a plane. It's my ringtone on my phone. That mother freaker back there is not real, right? I don't know what anybody's doing on here. It's my ringtone. What was she saying? Did we ever verify what that woman said? She just disappeared. How is it that you can go on and see all of these so-called celebrities, and you see images of them in the 1920s, and you see them in 1880, or you see Trump in a book and his son Barron, because these are the geoengineered main characters in the Matrix simulation, Earth simulation X. I actually think this Earth simulation is called X. I'm starting to think the name of the simulation is at X, just like Planet X. I think that is only personally, uniquely a name specific to here. It's my opinion for now. It may change, but I think it's specifically for here. And why do I bring up the fact that right now, everything in you, if you are an organic being, is being turned on. And not turned on, sexy time, turned on. I'm talking about your codons that were normally locked down are now opening up and expressing themselves. When you can watch a whole live with, big up to Rod Hayes, y'all. Listen, a brother Rich had him on. I think one of the C stars, big up to the C star on my Telegram that shared it. Whenever you have that kind of information, remember, Rod Hayes has been banned from all channels making his own channel. He has to go on other people's channel. That kind of intel, that kind of information, that man, that being, because he's a being, to unleash the information with such effortlessness, such purity, such like not matter of fact, that is another layer of awareness and awakening that is beyond this realm. That means we've reached a precipice that is really, really over the top. Like we're over the firmament at that point. When you start to get intellis coming on, and again, this is not something that the Matrix lets him come on, and that's how I know he's real. The Matrix, the simulation will come against anyone because it's part of the ley line, it's part of the fabric of this simulation. It's part of the fabric of the simulation. The simulation will attack anything that is going against its agenda. And it's part of the game too. So is it really an attack or is it a challenge? So instead of saying it's an attack, it's a challenge. They aren't going to let organic beings play here. That's why I think that the Agent Smiths online, like JWTV, the other guy, which is like a black and white floor, it's the duality playing out. Like the JWTV, what's the other guy? His name is, oh, I forgot what he is. He's always like, this is breaking news. He's the lunar version of it, and JW is the black version of it. It's the checkerboard effect. So they got Agent Smiths coming in with a black and white. So you'll always see like checkerboard right now because they want to capture the attention with duality. So they're going to capture the attention to one demographics and they'll catch it on the other side. So they'll have these layered, they'll have these polarities playing out within these Agent Smiths. Now, whether he's real or not, I can't say. I don't know the man. But I will say he is serving the agenda of the YouTube platform. Why? Is because he's allowed to give information that seemingly is all intel, talking about the things going on within the within this within the trials and tribulations occurring right before reset, but he isn't being attacked. So it makes me think that he's probably artificial intelligence. He may be a geoengineered background person, maybe NPC himself, playing out this narrative, generating the agenda, so he's part of the system, or he's part of the military aspect. Could be a real person, but is being allowed to sit there because he's part of the group of Agent Smiths that are supposed to play that part at this time to keep the attention, keep the alert, and keep people in a constant state of fear and fret, so that they aren't able to see when the door opens, or to access and ask and understand that they are the progenitors and they progenerate this reality. Okay, so that being said, the Olympians are here. The Americas is where the Olympians are bred and born. That's why I told you I only give birth to children from a specific place, and I have to go there, and that soul is imprinted in my womb, so that a certain child is born out of me. It is the same for the gladiators, the Olympians, and the Olympians are those beings. That's why you get movies like Supercell. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see Supercell. When these people just wake up to their abilities, that is them taking on your narrative. They're talking about you, y'all. They're talking about you. They're talking about you, and they want to make it seem artificial, phantasmic, put it on a movie so you think it's just a movie. So when you start having these abilities showing up, like you're running and you're like, how did I get here? Or you're projecting yourself in the sky, or people are seeing you elsewhere and you're not there. How did you do that? And then you'll think to yourself, oh, that's not me. I just saw a movie where they did that. No, because they're taking on the qualities of who you are, and they're going to put it on a movie so you think it's artificial. You'll think it's fake. You think that you're imagining it because you just saw a Supercell. And if you notice, why are they making it with a whole bunch of brown people now? Is this the group of people that they're really saying that calling the attention to them because those are the group of people that might show this in mass? Is this a group of people that are going to have these dispositions show up within them? So they're trying to grab the attention to those melanated people on these shows to make them think that they're going crazy, or that this just their imagination, that they start to be able to do all these have all this hyperkinetic abilities that they didn't have before. The Olympians are come from the Americas, and they come from here. They are now being initiated into higher forms. And like I said, I don't want to even go into what's happened to me over the last, oh gosh, well, it's happened to me for the longest time. But even with the Orishas, like I've had some things happen, y'all, that even with my layer of awareness and contact is beyond my belief. Things that are contacting me now that I really thought were fake. And they're so real and tangible that it literally humbles me to the experience. You are the Olympians. The Olympians are from the Americas. The Americas is the only place where those type of beings could be geoengineered. Those beings are born into this space because it has so much technology, because it is Africa. Ancient Egypt is here. The technology that's geoengineered is in the Americas. That's why those type of beings can only be born into the game in here. Those are the Olympians, and you are now being activated. That's why they're trying so hard to stop the activation, trying so hard to change what was normally natural radiation, gamma radiation. They're trying to change and transfer the radiation to something that's diabolical, and that is to neutralize these abilities from coming online. That's why during that whole fake eclipse, where they literally put something over the other sun that they had. Now, remember, these are some simulators. These aren't real, but normally those other suns emit a certain kind of radiation. Now, mind you, there's two sets of things that you need to understand and understand. There is a game and there is a set. This is a set we're living in. The set has specific timers to go off at specific times before reset. Before reset, the super beings come online. The other beings who are the haters, the longtime loopers, the satanic losers that haven't been able to leave here, they figured it out during all of these lifetimes where they keep going through the loop. They've had the advantage, so they know when these things in the technology are going to turn on that are part of the simulation. They try to convert it or co-opt it by doing certain things. That whole fake eclipse was them co-opting energies that were supposed to come in to activate the Olympians to turn on. The only way, listen, the video game isn't going to ever give you anything that you aren't able to handle, especially when you're a playable character. If you're coming in this simulation, you have earned the privilege to come here, regardless if you're here for spiritual elevation. Maybe you're doing time because you needed this kind of awareness. Maybe you had to have things bounce against you like a mirror so you would grow and evolve, regardless of why you're here. The fact of the matter is, there are certain things in here that turn on when you get to a certain point in frequency and awareness that need to be activated so that you can start to have the ability to work with the new energies and overcome the challenges that will going to test you during your finals before you leave here, before you can leave here. Okay? The only way that you're waking up out of this simulation is a short, narrow window we have to open and jump through that door and wake up out of the simulation. It is a very small window, and they know this. The psychopathic, satanic maniacs, they're maniacs because they've been here. I don't know if you ever watched Groundhog Day. Did you ever watch Groundhog Day? At the beginning of Groundhog Day, the guy figures that he doesn't understand what's going on. He's waking up to the same loop every day, and he doesn't realize it initially. And then he starts having a group of synchronicities happen. He starts to have things that start to become repetitious, and then he starts to notice, oh my God, let me test and see if this is a loop. And then when he figures out it's a loop, what does he do? He starts doing crazy things. He knows that it's going to be a reoccurrence every day, so he starts doing different things, starting to play with the loop. These maniacs know this, y'all. That's why they're able. It's no such thing as predictive programming. It is a program, so it's always going to be predictive because it is a program. If someone knows the program, then it's easy for them to co-opt it because they know what's coming. They know that during this time, the Olympians wake up to who they are. They know that in order for you to leave, you have to elevate to a certain point where you can master yourself, gain all your awareness, and be able to pass your final exams to leave. I don't care if you're a volunteer or not. If you're going to leave here, you too have to go through the gladiator games. You have to pass that finale in order to go through that little slither, that door that wakes us up to where we truly exist. Now, my awareness is that we're sleeping on a cryo state in a room. We're sleeping in this machine, and we're projecting ourselves in this avatar, in this reality. And also, there's a reason why they keep attacking specific bloodlines, because if you are going to leave, now mind you, not everybody leaves during this time. There are beings here that are new. They're new jailmates. They just got in this joint. Some of them are doing 10 to 20, some are doing 30, and some may do life here based on their ability to transcend, evolve, and ascend to a higher form of awareness. Okay, but not everybody leaves the cycle. The newbies are like the freshmen. They're coming in, they're seeing how the seniors act, they're just trying to find themselves. They're not in that awareness. Don't judge them. Everybody's where they're supposed to be. Okay, so it isn't like you're gonna teach a ninth grader how to do super duper calculus. You know what I mean? They're not on that level. They don't have the information. They don't have the education. They haven't gone through the experiences, so it isn't what they're supposed to do. They can watch you and learn from how you engage, because it'll help them when they come back in the next cycle, so that they're further along their evolutionary process. But it isn't for you to try to break them out of their ignorance, or fast track them into a higher layer of awareness, because everyone has to go through the process. Okay, and the fact of the matter is, seniors that are here, that are now in graduating year, that have already overcome lifetimes, that are the gladiators, they are the gladiators of this realm. They are now being turned on so that they can go inside of the Colosseum and show what they got. Did you learn your magic? Did you learn to stop being gaslit when people call you fat or ugly or stupid or dumb or black or ape? Did you stop being gaslit? Does that still bother you? So you're going to be going into the Colosseum with all those things that you had to overcome being here. The very simple things are those things. There's other things higher you have to overcome. Do you remember the last scene in the Never Ending Story? Remember the Never Ending Story? For some of you who haven't seen it, I know for your young people, I always tell you to watch these movies. You're like, that's so corny. It's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, watch it. Look at the last scene when Atreyu has to meet himself. What is the hardest part of the layer of the Never Ending Story? What does he meet at the end, y'all? At the pillars. What does he meet, y'all? And it's so masterful, that movie, because you see the little boy who's reading the book. That is him. That is us in the cryo state, generating ourselves inside of the book. He's Atreyu. What does he see, y'all? What does he see at the end when he has to? What is the hardest thing he has? Kay said it. Kay said it. Let's see who else says it. It's the hardest thing he has to overcome. Let me see. Kay said it. Let's see if anybody else says it. He has to face himself. Very good, ladies and gentlemen. Very good. He has to face himself. Absolutely. It is the hardest thing in here. That's what I'm saying. Listen, if anything that YouTube and being on social media has taught me, it has taught me to be faced with aspects of myself that were very uncomfortable. I mean, God darn it, when you're online, you're judged in so many ways, whether it's true or not. But you will be hit with the things that you aren't willing or able to see within yourself. And once you're able to accept it and see it and not even overcome it, just acknowledge it, you've basically come through the other end. You've walked through those pillars. Like I tell you all the time, people are like, why doesn't it bother you? You come online, you get criticized. Like, why do you keep coming online? Because that's an aspect that I've dealt with. Sometimes in your journey, you do things that sometimes don't even make sense at the time. Like I came on YouTube at a time. Some of you, big up to anyone who was with me on YouTube for all these years. Who's been with me for a while? Some of you have been with me from 2011. Some of you know me from back in the days when I was on the radio. Some of you know me. But if you remember, like I used to come on, and I remember the criticism at the time was, oh my God, she sounds like I said, the criticisms are things that hit you that you haven't resolved. So you remember like when I came in, people, oh, she sounds like a Valley girl. Are you trying to act white? Oh my God, why are you doing this video from your house? Like, why are you living there? Like just things that probably were undertones of things of uncomfortability that I've dealt with. And, you know, you deal with that. Like, remember I would go to the UFO conferences or I go to UFO communities and we're like, oh, she looks like an ape. Oh, you're a monkey. Oh, why do you have these black people coming in our spaces about UFOs? Like, that's our space. I was confronted with so many aspects of things. And remember at the time I would combat them. I would go, you know, someone would say it and I would just automatically combat it all the time. And then eventually it just kind of rolled off and you laugh about it and you play with it because you realize it had nothing to do with really anything but aspects of myself that were unresolved, maybe things hitting my face that were uncomfortabilities of things that bothered me from before. So you get hit with them constantly. And then you overcome them and you're like, you play with it a little bit. Yeah, I'm a monkey. I'm an ape. Yeah, I like to, you know, I'm saying, where's all the hair on my body? Where's all the hair? You know, normally apes have a whole lot of hair. What happened to me? What am I, like an ape? What happens when you shave an ape? You know, is the hair on the ape, is when you share the hair off the ape, is the ape light or is it dark? You know, I start to play with it a little bit. Oh, remember Starbucks in the car? Y'all know I'd be in my bed. You guys thought I was naked up in here. Okay. So those are aspects of things of being confronted. And later on, after I had babies, had some mishaps, then I got a little chunky. Then, you know, before, well, when I was smaller, then I was a slut. Because remember, if they perceive you to be attractive, and so they call you all their names. So, and remember, these could be bots. So they're confronting you. And some simulation. So it's anything. You're a slut, you're a harlot, you're coming on here to attract men. That was one point. And then later, you know, as I'm getting a little more seasoned, oh, you're fat, you're disgusting, you're an ape. You know, like I said, y'all, everything will confront you, but that in itself is you being confronted with yourself. You being confronted with the things about yourself that maybe you haven't handled, maybe you still have insecurities about. But the great thing about that is that you get to do it in real time and you get to grow and absolve yourself of the emotions or the insecurities that come along with being on social media. So you should never feel uncomfortable coming out as yourself, y'all. You shouldn't feel uncomfortable. If I can come on here and have them hurl a whole lot of names, remember, these people don't know me from Adam. And that's why I learned, I think it was, who was this who said that? That terminology, I forgot who said it, but I don't know who said it. And I remember thinking that's correct. How people feel about you hasn't anything to do with you and only has to do with them. If someone perceives you as a certain ways because that's the way they feel about their life, things in your life, their life has presented in a way where they see you a certain way based on their imprint, their social engineering. It hasn't anything to do about do with yourself. It doesn't matter. Because one person can see me as garbage, one person can see me as fat, one person can see me as ugly, one person can see me as stupid, but other people can see me as smart, beautiful, healthy, you know, strong. Do you understand? So how be careful letting people imprint their own insecurities or their narrow view of the world because of their lack of exposure or maybe overexposure, and let them imprint that on you, because all you'll do is present that to the world yourself. You'll take that in and take it on as if it's really you. If you're okay with you, that's all that matters, really, because this is a game. This is a video game. And really in itself, you chose your avatar, you chose your bloodline for a reason. I love my bloodline. I've told you since I came on here that hasn't ever changed about FleurBrun. I love my bloodline. I came from some beautiful, amazing people. My parents, my grandparents, they were absolutely amazing people. Not perfect, but I love my bloodline. And my bloodline has allowed me to be a cultivator of nature, to be engrossed and speak to the trees, to go out and be part of the elementals. Why would I ever question? So if I look a certain way, it is because I'm the progenitor. I am progenerating that energetic field that I've imprinted myself in here with, because I've chosen specific bloodlines so that I can experience that within this holographic world. And this is who you chose to be, whether you chose to be someone who has beautiful carbon skin and coily hair. Do you not know that you chosen those bloodlines to have that look so that you could harness the energies? Because remember, I told you, the darker the skin, the more cosmic energy you can take in. You have more, you're able to pull in more frequencies, because black matter collects light. So I always say this because people don't like when I say this, but why? Because everybody has a benefit. And to demonize people with darker skin is just a projection of how ignorant and how you are devoid of light. Because anyone knows, if I have a crayon and I put red on my paper, then I put yellow, then I put orange, then I'll put green, then I'll put blue. What color, doesn't it start to get darker until it's black? So that in itself means that it pulls in all the frequencies of light. All those colors are incorporated in that dark skin. So why would that be the most demonized thing? Oh, she's black. Oh, she has coily hair, brings in all the frequencies. They have more access to the algorithm. They have access to all of the frequencies that come. When you have a coil in a car, would you have a straight thing? When you want to pull in energy, what do you have to do? You have to coil it, right? Coils bring in energy. So why would that be a negative thing? I want to say that because a lot of times I think that people who are brown skin are treated unwell, but for the very thing that they have access, for the very thing that most people would love to have. For the very thing that allows them to put, now whether they utilize it or not, that's another question. Because if you socially engineer and you put everything on the news to make those people look criminal, to make them look like monsters, to make little brown girls feel like they're not as pretty because only the little light girls get attention, of course they're going to feel a certain way about themselves. And maybe because they take in that feeling that other people, that's why I say to you, how other people feel about you has nothing to do with you. Those little girls take in other people's opinions of them. But if her grandmother told her and her mother told her that how someone feels about you, baby, hasn't anything to do with you, is how you feel about yourself. And that's why that last scene of a trail meeting himself at the pillars, when he faces himself, that is our last final exam. Why I use that as an example is because I noticed that our last exam, our final exam, is everything that we've taken on of others' opinions, of the outer world's opinions, and we've imprinted it and infused it inside of ourselves as if it's part of us. We chose who we are, y'all. Big, black, ugly, whatever it is. There's no such thing as ugly, but you know what I mean? You chose your avatar. Everything about you is perfect. Why would you choose it otherwise? This world is a choice. When you came into this video game, you said, hey, just like Kevin Hart, I want to be a zoologist. I'm going to be short and black, but because I need to be able to get underneath stuff. I need to do who you are, who you chose genetically. Your bloodline matters. You chose that bloodline because that was the perfect ingredient for you to master certain aspects of yourself. Why? That's why they progenerate hating yourself. That's why they tell everybody, oh, you could change yourself. Oh, if you don't like yourself, because that's why they won't ascend. That's why they won't be able to leave through the door, because part of you seeing yourself is seeing your true self and accepting it. When I reach those pillars and I have to look at my image and see FleurBrun, a little chunky, just looking at the same little girl before, will I accept myself? Or would I take in other people's negative opinions about me? Oh, she's this, she's that. Because if I do, I'll reject myself and I won't be able to exit. Because part of being here is accepting your own choices based on you knowing that those very things you chose in your bloodline. I don't care if your mama was a crackhead. That woman, when she was younger, she probably was a genius. She probably had so many things that may have overwhelmed her. Maybe the Matrix made it a point to put so much pressure on her in her neighborhood to make her feel like that little girl who doesn't feel good about herself. And then eventually, as a way to try to cope with the hurt and the pain and feeling everybody's imprint of her being lesser, she ends up doing drugs to try to mute those emotions. But was she not a god before that? Was she not a god as a little girl? Was she not a little girl that could see things? Maybe that mama who ended up being a crackhead, maybe she was a little girl that could see things, that could see spirits. Maybe she was able to go and pierce through the other realm. Maybe she was able to see beyond the stars. And everything in her life told her that was a lie, and told her that wasn't true, and told her she was an idiot, told her she was a crazy person. And she took that in. Be grateful. This whole firmament, this whole inside this firmament is teaching everybody, change yourself. Go get, you're fat, FleurBrun. Go get some, what's that stuff again? Ozempic, and go shoot your stomach in. Let your stomach fall asleep. You'll be dead on the inside, but so long as you look good to everybody else, that's all that matters. They will progenerate, but guess what? I reject that. I reject it. I'm okay with me. And if you see me as that, if you see me as a disgusting person, if you see me as stupid, if you see me as an ape woman, if you see me as a fatty, then that's on you. That hasn't anything to do with me. I love the way I look because my mother and father, who I love, made me, and I chose them. And I love everything about them. I love the way they looked. I love the genes that came together to create me. And I'm okay with that. How you feel about me? Okay. Does it feel good to hear that? Probably not. But that hasn't anything to do with me, because at the end of the day, when I turn this screen off, when I turn everything off and I lie in my bed, I just have me. And I have to be okay with me because I chose this, and everything about me has gotten me to this layer and level of awareness. So why would I let someone else's opinion affect me? Why would I let their opinions make me feel lesser so that I go through the world with a feeling of depreciation? You have to be okay with you. If you chose to be a male and you look the way you do, you chose it for a reason. Your experiences were to come here and experience this world in a masculine and being able to interface with things from a masculine point of view. Why would you choose to change that? That is who you chose to be. So you're saying that the higher self is a liar? Your higher self was making things, was an idiot? The higher self outside this firmament, outside of this construct of social media and social engineering, it was an idiot. Is that what you're saying? So, that being said, right now, at this time, we're about to hit a precipice of higher frequencies, one that probably many of us haven't ever experienced before in this video game. I don't know that everyone has been in this loop double time. Most people make it through the reset and get to the graduation point where they're able to take in the frequencies without, with being able to take it in and being able to open up and occupy the space with a layer of, I don't want to say superiority, of your abilities being on deck. Like the codons, the reason why we get bombarded with so much frequency and so much radiation, the galactic radiation is what we're supposed to be able to take in. The cosmic radiation, the gamma radiation. You know, if you ever watched the Hulk, remember the Hulk? The Hulk was able to take in all that gamma radiation. Remember? He was like David Banner. Did you guys remember that? Y'all, did you remember hold on. Do you remember the Hulk? Oh, that was so good. I love that show when I was a little girl. He was a scientist and he got exposed to that gamma radiation, y'all. Oh, he was Bruce Banner. Oh boy. Melanin. He was like a month and he wasn't that smart. Do you see the duality? So inside of him, he had a scientist, a smart guy, a regular guy, a matrix guy, but inside of him, he had a beast. And he was strong and powerful, and he was able to save people. Like, that's what I'm talking about. That's inside of all of us that are real. Okay? And that gamma radiation, they were telling you what you're supposed to be exposed to. That gamma radiation, now listen, I won't say it feels great because it's bombarding, and they're co-opting the energies too. And all of these Wi-Fi frequencies things, hold on. Oh, hold on. You know, I tell you to put, I tell you to try to put your stuff in these dark bags. Like if I have to put like any sort of chargers or anything, try to keep your stuff off of you, because it's too much radiation that they purposefully want you to be exposed to other forms of radiation that aren't as positive. This is the Go to I Love Guard Dark. If you don't have it, I have tons of them. Like I have, like this is the bigger one. I don't even know what I have in here. Hold on. What do I have in here? Oh, okay. I travel with this. Oh, I keep my other cell phone. I keep my Brazil cell phone. See, and then I keep all this protection on it. You know what I mean? I have like the, what is this? Oh, this is, you know, I have the diode. I have this on it. This is my Brazil phone. So I keep like stuff in here. Like if you travel, try not to have all your electronics out. And I don't care if you turn them off. Make sure you, it's Go Dark. You can look online, Go Dark. I'm not a sponsor for them, so, you know, I don't sponsor anything, but I love this company and I travel with these. So if I go on a plane or anything, because all of your electronics have that battery, that lithium battery. Hold on. They have that lithium battery on it and they can just combust. And remember, I told you what I told you. That's why, remember, this is reset, y'all. They have to clear everything. They have to clear everything. They have to clear the entire set. It's like being in a play, and the play, this is the finale, okay? So it's very important for you to understand that there's rogue energies going around. Like even putting the smart meters, you can deny them the smart meters in your houses, y'all. I don't know how many times I've told you that. Like in my house in Florida, remember I told them to kiss my grits? Kiss my grits. Remember that? Kiss my grits. I told them not to come to my house. And guess what? I went to New York. And what I find? Those motherfuckers came to my house. They came to my house, y'all. It's my house. I pay the mortgage. I'm paying the stuff. How you going to come to my house on my property and come to my house? How did they know I left my house to put the smart meter on? So you know what I did? I called those motherfuckers and I said, you going to get arrested. I'm going to do whatever I have. I'm going to spend everything to get at you. Because, you know, I'm petty like that. And I said, take the goddamn smart meter off my house. I'm not paying for it. Take it off. So you know what they had to do? They had to come to my house and take the smart meter off. And I had to pay a little fee per month. Isn't that crazy? I had them take off the technology and I have to pay a fee. So I had them take the sucker off, and you don't have to have a smart meter in the house. You can tell them that is your right, because a smart meter is a bomb. It's a nuclear bomb. They are going to clear this site. It's a set, y'all. They got to clear the set. What happens when you're done with a play? You got to clear the set. You usually break down the props. All of these so-called Tesla cars, they want you to get, you know why? Because those are bombs. Allegedly. I'm not saying anything. I'm a liar. Don't listen to me. Okay? Those are bombs. Allegedly. Those are all lithium batteries. Did you see that? Listen, they all, okay, solar panels, everything that they're promoting you to now is to clear the set with reset. You got all these people driving around here. Be careful if you got your people down the block or next door that got Teslas. I'm telling you, allegedly, you know, I'm an actor. I'm a joker. I'm an idiot. Okay? Dude, there isn't any reason. Why don't they want you to have your old cars? Why don't they want you to keep your old vehicles that don't have those batteries in it? My suggestion is not to put solar panels on top of your houses. If you're gonna have them, put it on the stands on side. I know it's unsightly, but if you go there, like I said, if we get a huge solar flash, what do you think is gonna happen to the Teslas and the smart meters and the solar panels on your house? You know the pole shift is coming, right? Okay, you know the solar flashes come in. And again, I don't even think the solar flashes are organic. I think sometimes there's natural ones and there's the ones that they generate, because they have HARP systems all over the place. All they have to do is put a flash and that sucker, everything blows up. Okay, did you ever see when the guy has a lithium battery and they make it seem like, you ever see those videos that were showing online and they had no context to it? Where it's like in India and the guy's holding his phone and then he just incites. First of all, I think he's a robotoid. I think he is actually a lithium battery. People ask me what I thought of those videos. Some of the videos you see the actual device blow up, but in some videos you actually see the being blow up. I actually think that these are robotoids that they have living around people that have lithium batteries, and they're literally exploding. Okay? It's very important that you pay attention, y'all. If you are on that last layer and that next layer, and you a gladiator coming to the point where we're going into the Colosseum, and the Colosseum has Tesla cars. Did you watch the movie? They told you what happens to the Tesla cars on The World Left Behind. What is it called? The World Left Behind? Is it called The World Left Behind? Oh, Leave the World Behind. Thank you, Demache. The World Left Behind. Leave the World Behind. So remember all those cars, those Tesla cars that were just going all in one crowd? They would go auto driving to one location. That was them telling you not the real. That's not only what they'll do. They can also be self-initiated to blow up, y'all. Okay? Anything with a lithium battery has that ability. That's why I walk around like this. Because this is a Fahrenheit bag. This is a Fahrenheit bag, right? Okay, I keep this in this, and I'm hoping that's enough. And I don't keep a lot of technology. And I told you, my baby brother turned off my computer back there. I made him take out the lithium battery. I couldn't do it. He took out the lithium battery. I'll plug in my computer, but I had people like, why would you do that? Because that can be used. And you know how Willy Wonka doesn't like me that much. Why would I ever let them have something that they could activate in my house? You notice I tell you, I have 0 televisions in my room. I haven't ever put televisions in my children's room. I won't put television sets in anything. Those are all can be activated and what do you call it? Ignited. Okay. Aluminum box, I think so. Professor A, I think so. Like a ferment, that's a classic. I think the aluminum box you got to see, but that's metal. Just find the material that they use for the Fahrenheit bags. Now, the aluminum is cool because it probably helps to mute everything inside. You're a god. I'm assuming you're a gentleman. You probably know more than I do. A Fahrenheit bag, Fahrenheit bag. You know how they do it, right? So, see if you find out like a good formula to putting it. I know back in the days they used to put it in like, yeah, aluminum boxes. And so remember like the military guys have the steel boxes where it's like the lead boxes. Are those lead? Who are my military guys? Do they have, are those lead boxes? I have one downstairs. Yeah, Cactus, it could. They could do it right now. I don't have a TV yet. Fahrenheit bag. Okay, thank you. The other sea stars are explaining what's the Fahrenheit bags are multiple layers of various metallic layers. Thank you. Myth said that. Victorious. Thank you. I would imagine that just a program in the binary level code that causes a battery to overheat. Well, you know, especially when they're on your phone, a lot of times how you know they're tapping your phone, they tap everybody's phone is tapped. But, you know, since FleurBrun has been back from the Rainbow Russian man that was stalking me, and big up to the Rainbow Russian guy with the rainbow shorts in Vancouver. I don't know what that was about, y'all. But ever since then, my phone was getting hot. And I know from listening to others who are in the, you know, in the techie field, is like a lot of times when they're triangulating your phone or trying to listen and tap in, your phone gets hot on the block. So I make sure, listen, I do what I got to do. You know, again, I progenerate this reality. A lot of the drama that's progenerated in this reality, I'm sure I co-create because of the way I think, my mindset. But I do take into account that a lot of the technology that we have literally has the ability to do more harm than good. That's what I'm saying. When you're exposed to gamma radiation, it does something different to your genes. Like your superior, your genes that get turned on, your codons that are literally snap closed until you reach a certain precipice of expression of energy or frequency, it opens up and it allows to express certain abilities that are ancient, that your ancient ancestors had access to. That's what I'm talking about. You being a gladiator, you being one of the super beings that are literally waking up to those abilities, and many of you are experiencing it. Also, I also think some of the sleepiness that some of us may have been experiencing, it's like a forethought. It's like a thought that I thought after the fact is, when a caterpillar goes in and creates a pupa or a chrysalis or a cocoon. Y'all, a good movie to see is watch the movie Cocoon. Oh, darn. Okay. Uh, um, Delmache, can we watch Cocoon next time? We did movie. Remember, we did the Forever Zoom. Delmache, can we watch Cocoon together next time? Can you remind me, Delmache? I think we're going to watch the Cocoon together because it's such a good movie, y'all. If you've not watched Cocoon, y'all, this is what I'm talking about. So I think some of that sleepiness that some of us were experiencing could be a layer of, like a dormancy. You ever have a baby? Like I remember my children, like whenever they're about to have a growth spurt or change, they go into sleep. They sleep more. They have to rest more because their body is transforming, it's growing, it's expanding. So they need more sleep. That's why I think that it's really important that during that time, because I remember 3 days ago, I talked to a lot of Zombies and they were living in different countries and we all had the same sleepiness, like the same level. My mom had it, I had it, even my children had it, like a lot of people I knew had it. It makes sense to me that that might have been some sort of dormancy that was because we were changing, morphing, expanding. The abilities that we have were now, because when the ability comes online, your body has to take up for that. So it has to change certain things about itself to be able to take on that new ability. Everything works in sync. Your body is symbiotic. Like everything works together in sync. So if something turns on in your body, other things have to shift and change and transform in order to make that permissible. So that's the part of, like, I think the dormancy, that's my opinion. I can't vet it out. We're going to see what abilities mine. There's certain things happening to me now and beings that are in contact with me, y'all. I will share that on Zoom, but it's real. I talked a lot of smack, y'all. And that's why I say bloodline matters. The beings that have been in contact with my ancestors and my tribal, many of you know I come from the Caribs and the Taino. I talk about that often, but I don't really talk too deeply because unless you come from that bloodline, it's kind of like a lot of people don't know too much about them unless you're from that area. And I don't want to ever focus too much on it. But, there were certain things I found out that were revealed to me by my mom. And I found out what I didn't know, and then I'm having contact from beings that have been in contact with my bloodline, and I had no clue that they were real or existed. And I'll kind of discuss that on Zoom. Just remind me to discuss it. I was in awe. Like I had to contact Maria and say, I'm just so happy and so in awe. Like there's certain things I do and talk about certain things, and it's because I don't believe it. Because to me, as being a contactee, a lot of my contact, if not 90%, is tangible. It's tangible things, beings coming to me physically. Unlike people saying, oh, in dreams. No, mine is physical. Okay. Why I tell you that is because I'm drug-free, alcohol-free. Some people do that and they have contact, but that's not the contact I have. I get contact in physical form. And because of that, the things that come to me are more physical. So I don't believe in things that aren't tangible to me because of the layer of contact I have. But I realized that there were certain things that I judged that I shouldn't have judged based on I didn't have an awareness, nor were the people who were saying they had contact, were they really having contact. So I thought that the people, I know y'all, I don't want to talk about it, but I'll talk about it another time. People who are having contact are lying. So I tend to stay away from things where I see a whole bunch of people doing a hokey pokey. When I see people doing the hokey pokey and I see they're talking about things that I know very well they're not having contact, they're lying to people. I just won't believe in anything. Oh, okay, I'll say it. The Orishas. I won't believe anything people will say about the Orishas because most of them will talk about it. I know for a fact they're not telling the truth because it's tangible things that don't make sense. Like it's not real. But I realize the reason why they're not telling the truth is because the Orishas only contact those of the bloodline. So when I found out that the Orishas are real, but the people who are most progenerating it most likely aren't having real contact, I found out that they were real because when they are truly from the bloodline that the Orishas have had generations of being in alignment with, they come to you. I didn't know that. So I got to take it back. I got to eat. Should I do it now? Should I do the apology now, y'all? Okay, I'll do it. You know, it's not really it's hard for a Sag to apologize, right? And say that we were wrong, okay? But I was partially right. But let me keep a real apology. I apologize for saying the Orishas weren't real. I apologize because I was wrong. I apologize because I didn't know. So I am sorry for stating that they were fake. I'm surprised they even come and talk to me because I said a whole lot of crazy things, but I don't apologize for other things because a lot of people who said they were worshiping Orishas and doing stuff with Orishas, they weren't really in contact with Orishas because they didn't come from the bloodline. But I found out in real time that I called Marie. I totally have to eat crow. I said the term right. I have to eat crow, y'all. I had to find out that they're real, and they're so real that I'm even in shock. And you know, I'm in contact with all kinds of beings. I'm in shock, y'all. The things that have contacted me, y'all, it's a bloodline thing, y'all. It is. And that's why, you know, some of these $5 Indians and all these people who say they're Native Americans, they're liars. Because the ancestors, I knew that they are not contacting them because they're not part of the bloodline. They paid for the bloodline. They paid the $5 to take on the lineage and to have some of the perks of the indigenous, but they're not indigenous. That's why they don't get any intel from the ancestors. That's why they aren't able to ever get any new information. Remember how I told you that in Brazil, how come none of the Orishas warn people? But guess what? I gotta criticize myself, y'all. I had an idiot moment. I said that, but the one person that I'm close to, Clariana, she didn't get the ba. And the Orishas wouldn't let her get it. But everybody in the house of Orishas got it. And they were on her because she didn't get it. And she didn't get it. The Orishas wouldn't let her do it. And she's the most integrity ridden. She doesn't do drugs. She doesn't smoke. And I didn't, like, sometimes hindsight is 2020. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm getting after myself. So let me apologize, everybody. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be disrespectful, and I did not know, and I was wrong. And now that I know better, I'll say better and do better and acknowledge better. So I apologize about the Orishas. I didn't know. And it was so ridiculous because I should have. But because I was seeing so many people that weren't connected to the bloodlines who were placating, like the $5 Indians going around going woo, 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 like they were Indians, I just felt a certain way. So I apologize. I should have had better discernment. So if you ever felt a certain way about me saying that, I'm sorry if I ever made you feel a way. Okay? I said I would, yeah. I've had some contact lately and it's crazy. I'm kind of like, I didn't know. I didn't know. When I went to Salvador, remember I told you that, I went to Salvador. Big up to everyone who's been to Salvador, Brazil. I was staying outside, like it was an island about 4 hours of Salvador. So finally I went to Salvador one day. And anyone who's been to Salvador knows that the Orishas are on the waterways. Like they have them on the lakes. Like you see each of the Orisha, like Oshun, you'll see Yamiya, but they'll be on the lake, like in full statue. I haven't ever seen that before. And I remember seeing it because we were leaving the Bauza, which is the boat. I had to take a ferry boat, like 4 hours. It's more of a ferry boat, but it's called a Bauza. So I had to take the Bauza across to the to inside Salvador. It was on a holiday weekend. So I went in and I remember the first thing I saw was the Orishas on the water. And oh my gosh, they were so beautiful. Like, when you see places where there's amazing images of things that are connected to melanated people, specifically from the Americas. I know it's from Africa, the origins, but which Africa? Okay, so remember that. There's a couple Africas. Africa from the Americas. I think they're from Africa from the Americas. This is what I think. Because when you hear the historical context of where the Orishas came from, the stories about where a lot of these the religious practices that utilize or have, utilize the Orishas in those religious, practices, you'll hear it's from Africa. But I'm starting to think like what part of Africa? Because when those Orishas are standing that beautiful in the waterways and you witness something like that, and it's so connected to the land mass you're on, because when I saw the Orishas, it felt connected to South America. It felt like that came from there. It felt so connected to the land that I was standing on that I couldn't see it coming from anywhere else. I really couldn't. And let me ask my African diaspora over in Africa, like Central Africa and West. Do you have Orishas that are standing and are built, that are built in Africa? I want to ask that question because I don't want to make the assumption because I could be wrong. But do you have in West Africa? Do you have and in Central Africa? Do you have images of the Orishas like standing out in statues? Can anyone tell me? Because I don't know. I you know what I mean? Because when I see them all in the Americas, it's like they belong there always. Anybody? No? I don't know. I'm asking my African diaspora because you would more so know. There's so many countries. There's over 54 countries in Africa. It's a huge continent. I couldn't possibly say that I know because I don't. It has so many beautiful places. I don't know. In Nigeria they do? Oh, in Nigeria they do. Do they have the Orishas? How long? Okay. They are from West Africa, but don't believe you supposed to make images of them. Okay. The rest of Africa has different systems, statues and gods. No, I just asked specifically about the Orishas. Okay, I listened to it. Okay. They have a village dedicated to Oshun. Ah, in West Africa. Okay, thank you, love. See, thank you, Aziza. Okay, thank you for that. There are towns dedicated to Orishas in Africa. Okay, thank you, Deirdre. Oh, I love it. I love our African diaspora. Thank you. Thank you. I love it. Okay. So they are from Africa. Nigeria has, according to our sisters, there are Nigerian and a couple other places in Africa, the different Orishas. Okay. There are a lot more. No, there's a lot. Oh, there's a lot. I learned in Brazil how many. Listen, I went to the house of the Orishas. I didn't know there was that many. There's so many. And remember I told you about the one that contacted me? Yeah. So there's a lot more Orishas than known. Okay. So I just wanted to give that out there. So I don't want to hold you guys too long. I just wanted to talk about the things turning on for you right now. We're about to need, that sounds crazy. We're about to go through a huge leveling of our consciousness. And it's because all of these things are coming together, the convergence, left and right, a Republican hits Democrat, which is crazy. Black and white, everything is hitting each other. Foreigners versus immigrants versus people there. Everything is coming together. The convergence is happening. Everything has to be, you have to be activated. The gladiators, the Olympians, the Olympics is telling you who you are. The Olympics is basically and who won the Olympics the most, y'all? Who won in the Olympics the most? Who has the #1 spot? It is those from the Americas, y'all. The Americas, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Americas took most of the medals, and that tells you who the Olympians are, y'all. That tells you who they are, okay? So I think it's time for everyone to accept it. Now, there are going to be things physiological that happen with your body. Remember when we talked about ascension symptoms? I don't believe in that. I think it's all a part of the cocoon, like you metamorphosizing because you're starting to become who you always were. And I will tell you this, because outside the firmament in my cryo state, I look a certain way. I personally think, and I can't say this because you know I have theories and I can't vet it out until we actually wake up out of it for a bit. But as you start to get closer to reset and waking up outside the firmament, your body starts to become more of what you look out there than in here. So if some of you are lions, Lyrians, if you are lion beings and you have a lot of that reminiscing kind of lion kind of esque inside, you might start looking more like a lion. Like if you start, your mane starts growing out, your eyes start to get more slit. Like if you start, this is my personal theory, because it's a theory. Because if you wake up outside of the firmament and you wake up in your cryo state and you look differently, it would mess with your peace of mind, because you would have to, because then you have a whole nother form of acclimation. As soon as we are getting close to leaving this reality, this simulation, and we wake up in our dormant state, we're going to start to look more of like what we do out there. So I would say the more that you are in here, that's what I'm saying, be careful. And this also says this too. I gotta say this, because there were beings that had both sexes that I saw. So there could be some layering effect of why that's happening too. Maybe that's happening because of the beings that are living outside that have both their hermaphrodites. So there could be something like that, because someone else also saw them when they woke up outside of the cryo state. So it makes me think that the hermaphrodites these are beings that do exist with us, some places that we live outside the firmament. So there could be some layer of that happening within here. But I personally have a theory that when we get closer to waking up, we're going to look like ourselves more there. So if your features start to change, and you wouldn't come so far apart from yourself here, you might come shorter or taller or skinnier or fatter. So you'll become more of what you look like out there. If you're younger there, if you're older there, you'll start to look more like that. So I know what I look like there. If you start to see FleurBrun start to look like, Sigourney Weaver, I'm serious, because I'm more athletic in the cryo state. I'm more athletic. That's why I came here. When I generated myself and projected myself in this firmament, in this reality, I probably wanted to be busty and more voluptuous looking. I have a feeling, because I love the way I do love the way I know people think that's weird, but I love the way I look, as far as like, you may not like the way I look, but I love I love like my robustness. And it's kind of like a struggle, because I know that that's not the norm here. So I know it's not normal to like your thickums, but I love the way I look. Like when I look this is a personal conversation, y'all. I do love the way I look, like without clothes. I love the way I look. So I know I chose this specific look. I know I did, because I love my skin. So I know I chose to look this way, because outside of here, I'm much more athletic looking. I don't have big boobies. I don't have any loft. I don't have any round thighs. I look very different outside of here. So this avatar that I chose, it's kind of like you almost choose the opposite, because it's like it may be an admiration thing. Like if you could be anything, you may choose to go out. Like let's say you could choose your avatar. You may choose something you ever see people play games and they pick like the most like, I've seen people who play games and they pick an avatar, they pick crazy hair, they pick like a reddish hair, spiked hair, like really busty, really not busty. Like, do you ever see them? I personally think that we choose our character avatar here, and we generate ourselves in a bloodline that can bring that together. So I chose this look. So outside of this firmament, I look very athletic. I just look less voluptuous. I'm more like just like what a woman soldier would look like. Not so much a soldier, but I just look more plain, and so on. So that's my theory, y'all. I think as we get closer to leaving, if anyone's coming here and they're lion beings, that's why I think a lot of the lions are coming out right now. Do you notice that? Like a lot of people are looking like lions, y'all. Remember I did Brother Rich's show and we were talking about the Lyrians? I'm noticing a lot of people looking real feline-like. And also I'm noticing women looking very mer-like very aquatic, like Their skin looks aquatic. They look really like water-like beings. So I'm personally thinking whatever you are outside of here, you're going to start to look more as we get closer. So that's that activation. That's the gladiator. That's you becoming like the Olympian. So however you show, this is my theory. That's my theory. I don't know if it's right. So I don't want to bank on it, because it's just, I just thought about it. I was like, as we get closer, we're going to look more of like what we look like. Because if we woke up out of this simulation, it would cause too many problems if we look too far apart. So we got to merge with the being we are outside of here. That's why that last scene, when Atreyu looked at himself in the mirror, he saw the little boy from the book, The Never Ending Story. Yes, so the never ending story, remember that? He looked at himself and he saw the little boy, and that was him. So it's kind of like that. Okay, so 2 movies to watch, y'all. 2 movies to watch. The Never Ending Story. If you've not seen it, I know our younger demographics. Listen, I know you think our movies are corny, but it's just the content. Just watch the content because it's relative. The Never Ending Story, I told you The Dark Crystal 50 million times. You got to watch this, the Dark Crystal. I can't tell you enough. You have to watch the regular show and then the series, okay? And then our new one that I'm going to ask you to watch is Cocoon, because the Cocoon talks about, I don't want to tell you, it's a good show though, and you can watch it. I think if you little ones, I watched it when I was young. I really enjoyed it. So the Cocoon. So those are some good movies. And also Supercell, because Supercell goes into the activation of you turning into your galactic avatar, like your super being person, like the person you really are. That's what I'm saying. As we go into the theater, the main theater, or the what is it called, the Coliseum, we are going to bring our best game. That's our finale. So we're going into the Coliseum now. The avatar has to go into supercell mode, where you turn into the gladiator, you turn into your Olympian version. That's what I'm saying. That's the final exam. That's your finale. So you're going to start to shift into that. Allow your body to go through the process. Stop fighting it. It is part of you regenerating, turning, switching, and everything turning on to supercell you. So I think it's amazing. I'm excited. This is the finale, y'all. We're really there. And I mean, some of you have finals. Some of you already took your finals. It's going to be amazing. Some of you are going to watch others take their finals. So I think this is a masterful time. Start to make sure you give your body all that it needs for this finale. It's going to be the best video game ever. We're getting clues. We do this all the time on Zoom. Woo, I tell you, we stay up. I stay up. The way that we stay up on Zoom is insane, but it's like it's necessary. It's kind of like, you know, when you get a study group for the finale and you get a whole group of people that meet up at the house and they all study, like, okay, this is the exam. Okay, we're going to get this question, and you kind of work with each other. It's kind of like how Zoom is working now. Okay. So, all right, y'all. So I hope this was helpful. I'm sorry. Again, I apologize. I'm not going to apologize. I'm not apologizing for YouTube. I'm not going to apologize for YouTube taking my videos down. At this point, you'll see when you see it. I did upload the part that they asked me to review is real bootleg. I got to upload it to my Patreon. I'll do it. Why they took it down, I don't know what prompted them to take it down, because I said so many things in my video. I can't pinpoint it, but I really think it's because you're not supposed to use, I'm not telling you to use vanilla extract, pure extract to deter mosquitoes. I'm not telling you that. I don't know if it was that. I don't know if it was other things I said. Okay, there was so many things in that video, and I have to review it with the Zombies to figure it out, because they took it down less than 30 minutes after I made it. So I have no clue. Sometimes it could be one thing, it could be everything. Okay, so I hope it was helpful. I hope it was helpful, and I look forward to the finale, y'all. And the shenanigans are coming. What we got? Less than 60 days to the election, y'all. Woo! We got Mr. Kamala coming out of left field. You got Trump burning the towers of terror. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. The duality is playing itself in full form, y'all. I am a non-participant in the Hell Games. I'm a non-participant in The Walking Dead. the Hunger Games, the Purge. I'm a non-participant, but I am all up for the shenanigans to witness and watch and relish in the absurdity of the Matrix Final Fantasy uh, episode. Oh, it is going to be hilarious, y'all. I mean, listen. I don't know what we're gonna see. We're gonna see false flags all over the place. I listen. You're gonna see the Russians and Chinese jumping out of the sky. They don't even have to jump out of the sky. Okay, it's gonna be crazy. Okay. Uh, I hope you're ready for the finale. You signed up for this video game. Do you think you're gonna be okay? The, it's gonna it's gonna be crazy. Just reject anything that they offer, y'all. Anything that they offer, just say I rebuke and I reject that offer. Because anything that they offer is literally gonna put you in the metaverse, deeper into the simulation for reset. You gonna wonder why you back out of reset, like, go, gosh darn it, why am I recycled? I thought I was gonna jump at you. Better stay away from the light. You better say no to soda pop. Oh, it's gonna be the Fast and Furious. We got a whole bunch of movies. It's gonna be the Fast and Furious. It's gonna be the Purge. It's gonna be the Hunger Games. The was the Handmaid's Tale. What? Holy cow! Oh, it's gonna be amazing. I'm just saying. I hope everybody's ready. Okay. Um. Yeah. Just Mad Max. I'm looking at 60 days, y'all, into the shenanigans. I got 1 foot out, 1 foot in. I don't know. It doesn't matter because we're all in the same, separation is an illusion. So even when I leave to go into another country, really, if we're in a simulation and we're in a cryo state, our beds are all around each other. So we think we're separated, we really aren't. Okay? So I just suggest you just say no to any coercion. Okay? It's going to be crazy. 28 days. You got all the movies. 28 days. A little shop of horrors. Little shop of terror, little shop. Ba, 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 ba. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. Yeah. I just, like I say, I wish you well. And like I said in the last live, everybody that you love, tell them you love. Remember, there isn't any, listen, if you're in a simulation and the beings around you are real, you already know, I have a theory. I don't even think it's a theory. I actually think it's real. I think majority of people here are fake. I think they're artificial intelligence simulated people. I think the majority of people you meet on a daily basis, that's why when you go into a store, there's nobody there, and like a Sims game, the alarm goes off and all the Sims start showing up to give the illusion of like space being filled by people. Okay? I think that's just it. I think the simulated people are being terminated. I think a lot of simulated people are going to be terminated. That's why they have all these machines and everything set up for you to check out your own groceries and so on, because the simulated people are going to be like, they're going to do an exodus, okay? And it could be maybe the simulated people leave because maybe that sun simulator, the timer goes off and it gets rid of half the population or gets rid of them. So it could be why they're setting up so that you think that they naturally leave. And I remember at the end of every cycle, before reset, they give you the illusion that there's a mass death of people through war or pandemic. And that's not the case. That's all a game. That's just to give you an excuse of why so many people leave, and that you put that in the history book that it happened because of war. No, it's because we're living in a simulation. It's reset time. That all these simulated people got to go. And if my theory is correct that the majority of people here that we're coexisting with are simulations anyway, is there any such thing as a true exodus? Are they truly going to die? Or is it just a matter of them playing a game with a fake war and pandemic so that is the case? Okay? You know what I mean? It's going to be crazy. So I'm excited. And now they're going after, you heard they already arrested the guy, the CEO of Telegram, right? For those who were on Telegram, they're coming after Telegram too. It's gonna be crazy. So, YouTube is already infiltrated. Oh, you heard about Mr. Zuckerberg, the robotoid himself. You know, the robotoid, there's two robotoids that are obvious robotoids. It's my opinion. Mark Zuckerberg apologized because he was coerced, he said, by the government to put all of these regulations on FB. Did you hear that, y'all? Do you smell BS in the air or not? Do you smell the lies and mass destruction? And then some of you think that Elon Musk is a real character and you watched him with Trump. If you don't know anything about robotoids and syntheticas and you know these machines, they have the way that they speak is patterned. I don't know if you get a chance to watch Elon Musk and you watch him with the interview with Trump, but you're going to see, I personally, it's my opinion, anything that speaks in 6 seconds intervals is a machine. Hello, everybody. I'm here to say, and as I go on to do my way, and if we want to talk about anything to do, he was talking in 6 second intervals, y'all. Y'all, just listen. Okay, you could call me crazy, right? Okay, you could call me crazy. He looks like Data, just like Mark Zuckerberg does. He got the Data complexion. That's not a lunar. That's a Data complexion. You know Data from Star Trek? You know the entity from Aliens with Sigourney Weaver, that complexion? That is a robotoid complexion. That is white/tan paint 21. Like it probably has a it probably has a label on the color. Yo, listen, he's in a second. Okay, I'm going to talk to you. And as I say this to you all the time, and as I'm going around the day, you know, like he's talking, y'all, please, let me know come on, please, tell me if you think he's a robotoid. Tell me if he does. The 6 second intervals, if you are a natural being, you could hear it. There is nobody, he doesn't even move his eyes. And then the brown version, I told you they got a brown version and a white version of everything. They got a black version and a white version and all these characters. Just like the characters online that are the fake whistleblowers that are Agent Smiths of the simulation, they've got these characters. He's a character. Elon Musk has the other one, the brown one. I won't say his name because he gets all in his feelings because he's a robotoid. But they look alike. He was wearing sunglasses all the time. He talks in intervals. He don't have any expression. That's the brown Data. He got the brown colors. They probably have the numbers on it, brown/blue. No, he got brown/gold. I'm not gonna say his name. Y'all already know who I'm talking about. They got the brown one and they got the white one. Oh my God. They're robotoids, y'all. Oh, and they people don't know. That you cannot tell me. I've been on the block. I'm in contact. I know a robotoid when I see, and it's the black and white version. So they got you both. They got the checkerboard, y'all. The Masons are out of control. The satanic cabal, they out of control. They created the white one and the black one, y'all. Woo, they got a trap for everybody. They got a trap for everybody. Oh, their eyes have no expression. Right, Babette? Babette wants to say something. Babette, do you want to tell them how you feel? Tell them how you feel. Do you feel that they're robotoids? Yeah? Do you feel like that one, the other one's a robotoid too? Can you tell everybody how you feel? Yeah? I think Babette agrees, y'all. I think she agrees. And this is the problem, y'all. You can't even tell. That's how I know. That's how I know who's got real consciousness. Because if you can't see that the two of them are representing the same frequency, like how come they have access to that many resources? And one is trying to input artificial intelligence because he is artificial intelligence, and the other one got satellites going in orbit. Oh, they got a robotoid for everybody, y'all. Holy cow. Don't get me started. I don't want to be messy. I'm already getting messy on here. You already know what I'm talking about. They got robotoids all online. And they're beta testing everybody to see how gullible, how permissible it is to place these beings in front of you and to see if you notice it. Okay? Oh, it's duality at its best. I'm telling you, for every lunar, there's a melanated person online doing the same thing. That's how you know they're most likely created by artificial intelligence. I didn't say it. That's that checkerboard. Don't play with it. That's that checkerboard. Black and white. It's very interesting. Very interesting. All right, y'all. I'm going to let you go. I was being a little messy at the end. Just take a look. I could be mentally ill. You know, according to YouTube, what they call me? They said I'm a terrorist online. What they call me? They said I'm spewing dangerous information online. But you got whole platforms monetized talking about worse than anything I say. You got to ask yourself the question, who allows these beings to be placed on public platforms unvetted, unwavered? Like one of them, he looks like he's sitting on a prison wall. Like I don't know if you can do videos in prison. Someone said you can. He looks like he's doing it from either a military base or a prison wall. He's sitting in front of a white wall disseminating information with monotone. It looks like he's been beat up by the AI. I don't know. I think he's a military plant. I think two of them, the black version and the white, I'm using the right terms because whenever they're not us, I only say nice versions of lunar people and melanated people when I like you. When there's something that's off and I think is artificial, I'll call you black and white because that's really the paste color that they use in their palette of colors for artificial. Okay? They got the white version and the black version online. Sitting in front of a wall, looks like a prison wall, looks like he's been beat up. Long nails. I mean, I don't know, y'all. I don't know if you can make videos from prison. I don't know if you can. Sit in front of a white wall disseminating information with monotone. That doesn't sound like a real being, or it sounds like they're coming out of like some sort of like military installation and they're just told to talk monotone. So there's no no elevation of sound or devaluation of sound so they get it inside of your subconscious. I'm sorry. I'm a little messy. All right, y'all. Let me go before I cause YouTube to take down this video. I suggest you upload the video. I can't help it if they take it down. It is what it is. This point is the shenanigans are on. It's a video game. I look forward to see you players. If you're gonna join us, you can always join us on Zoom. I think we'll be on tomorrow night. The Zombies, are you guys still on? Like I said, it was a forever Zoom. This is the last day, so if you want a support system, we're up all night talking shenanigans, 24 hours a day, almost 7 days a week on Zoom. We're getting ready for the shenanigans. So if you want to come and join us, listen, we're real people though. If you like artificial intelligence, then you don't want to come with us. I'm sure they like to come and document what we talk about. But if you up for the shenanigans, you want to talk to people that are real, some of the most amazing people are on there, and we're basically breaking spells, and we're getting pieces of the puzzle, which is even better. So you can always join us. We'll be there tomorrow, and then Sunday. Well, we'll be there probably all weekend. So anyway, all right, y'all. Thank you for joining my live, and I shall see you. And hopefully this video, I don't know if it'll stay up. We'll see if it stays up. They took down the last one. I would upload it if you want. I don't know. Let me know. There's no Zoom link. You have to go through the Patreon thing. We just do Zoom. That's not, you guys don't have to join that. We're on they're on Patreon. We're on there from, I don't invite I don't invite everyone. If you come there, you can come and join the ladies and everything and the gentlemen. But we're on every Thursday, and then Thursday lasts until Saturday, and then we're on Sunday. It usually lasts until Tuesday or Wednesday. So you can join us if you want. You don't have to, because you'll get me here every once in a while. But if you want to talk all night about the things that most other online, because they're restricting so much of what we say, you can come and join us. Okay. Anyway, y'all, I'm out of here. Cheers. I will see you in the other part of our video game. Let's see how it goes. We've got 60 something days. It's gonna be off the chain. All right. All right. I hope you guys get upgraded to gladiator or to your what do you call it, Olympian avatar, because you're gonna need to pretty soon. All right. Peace, everybody. Peace. Oh, I can never know how to